9 years after massively multiplayer online first-person shooter conflict broke out in PlanetSide, the battlefields of Araxis are heating up once more. We've been on the ground and in the skies of the closed beta for PlanetSide 2, where 3 factions are vying for control of the territory you see on this map here. We'll give you a quick rundown of how things are shaping up in SOE's large-scale shooter, and explore what it will take to make these scattered skirmishes feel like a full-scale war. Once you've created a character and chosen a faction, it's time to find a fight. The map is quite large, but it's hard to get a sense of just how big it is without hopping into a flying vehicle and taking a tour yourself. Mountains, valleys, hillsides, and plains play host to modest outposts and massive fortresses alike. The sheer number of places for conflict to break out can be daunting, especially if you're an FPS fan who's used to a smaller, more directed experience. Fortunately, the map shows a number of hotspots where conflict is raging, and you can airdrop into the fray by clicking the Instant Action button. But before you head off into battle, there's one more decision to make. PlanetSide 2 has 6 different soldier classes that vary in appearance and battlefield effectiveness. Stealthy infiltrators, nimble jetpackers, medics, engineers, guys with big guns, and guys with really big guns all bring their own special flavor of hot, fiery death. This combat diversity is further amplified by vehicles. Whether on the ground or in the air, vehicles fall into 3 general categories: speedy one-man attack units, heavy assault units with multiple gunner seats, and the hefty transport units that can resupply soldiers, repair vehicles, or act as mobile spawn points. With multiple classes of soldiers and vehicles, there are a lot of ways to contribute to the fight in PlanetSide 2, so raging battles are an impressive sight to behold. Around the major installations, the air fills with incoming transports, acrobatic dogfights, deadly strafing runs, and blistering anti-aircraft fire. On the ground, soldiers fight pitched battles over choke points, or engage in small skirmishes as each force tries to outflank the other. Tracers, explosions, and flying debris fill the air, and you really feel like you're part of conflict on a grand scale. But with all this combat centered in certain areas, what happens when you aren't in that area? Maybe instant action took you to a place where the battle was petering out. Perhaps you spawned a hefty distance from any objective points. Or maybe you decided to lie in wait for an enemy counterattack that never came. Regardless of how you got there, these lulls make you feel like you've dropped out of the action. This is something most first-person shooters are very careful to avoid, but PlanetSide 2's scope makes that very difficult indeed. Traveling with a communicative squad, hopping in a vehicle at your faction's hub facility, and reading the map carefully can help minimize downtime. But even when you manage to successfully find the action after a lull, the skirmishes can feel disconnected. Most of the available tools for rejoining combat are reactive rather than proactive. This makes it seem more like you're a mercenary hopping among conflict zones, and less like you're a soldier waging war on behalf of your empire. What PlanetSide 2 needs is a cohesive force to tie your empire's efforts together into a unified war effort, and there are plenty of sources of inspiration to draw from. Many MMORPGs use raid dungeons to bring players together in directed missions, forcing lone wolves to team up to achieve a greater goal. The PlayStation 3 shooter MAG promoted players to command positions, allowing them to set objectives for large groups and communicate with entire platoons over voice chat. Even something as simple as a newswire updating every soldier on the battle progress could help funnel players towards certain areas and make them feel like part of a greater offensive maneuver. There's a lot of things PlanetSide 2 could do to capitalize on its unique scope, but keep in mind that it's still in closed beta. The mission system that promises directed objectives has yet to go live, and elements that are crucial to combat pacing, like lockdown timers and objective placement, are still being tweaked. PlanetSide 2 may have a ways to go, but one look at these big battles should be enough to get you excited about where it's going. So, are you excited? Intrigued by FPS combat on a massive scale? Concerned about how it'll all come together? Have any thoughts on what could make these skirmishes feel like part of something greater? Let us know in the comments, because hey, you never know who might be listening.